Your eyes have been trying to tell you something, and there's a good chance you've been ignoring it. Not because you don't care, but because the habits that are quietly destroying your vision after 60 don't feel dangerous. They feel normal. They feel like just the way things are now. Today I'm walking you through 5 habits that eye specialists now identify as the leading behavioral drivers of vision loss in adults over 60. These aren't rare conditions that happen to other people. Each one is common, each one is addressable, and each one is doing damage right now in people who have no idea it's happening. Stay with me to the end, because I'll also share what you can do starting today to protect what you still have. Welcome back. On this channel, we focus entirely on health after 60, because at this stage of life, the threats to your health are often quiet, gradual, and completely preventable once you know what you're looking at. Vision loss is one of the most significant quality of life threats facing adults over 60. Age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of irreversible vision loss in people over 50 in the developed world. Cataracts affect more than half of all Americans by the time they reach 80. Glaucoma progresses without pain or symptoms until significant damage has already been done. And diabetic retinopathy is causing permanent retinal damage in millions of older adults who don't yet know their blood sugar is elevated. What research has made increasingly clear is that genetics and aging alone don't explain these rates. Specific modifiable behaviors, things people do every single day, are accelerating the damage. Most people doing them have never been told. Let's go through the 5 habits. Habit number 1. Chronic screen exposure without breaks, specifically the suppression of blinking. This one affects virtually every adult over 60 who uses a phone, tablet, computer, or television, which is to say, almost everyone. The average person blinks approximately 15 to 20 times per minute under normal conditions. When looking at a screen, that rate drops to as few as 5 to 7 times per minute, a reduction of more than 60%. Blinking is not a minor reflex. It is the mechanism by which the tear film, the thin protective layer covering the cornea, is refreshed and maintained. Every blink re-wets the surface of your eye. After 60, tear production declines naturally. The meibomian glands, which produce the oily component of tears, become less efficient. The tear film evaporates more quickly. When you cut your blink rate by more than half, you accelerate that evaporation dramatically. The surface dries out. Inflammation follows. Chronic dry eye syndrome causes microscopic corneal damage that accumulates over months and years. The clinical recommendation is the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes of screen use, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Consistent application of this rule produces measurable reductions in dry eye symptoms within weeks. It sounds too simple. The research disagrees. Habit number 2, wearing sunglasses inconsistently or not at all. Most people think of sunglasses as a comfort item. That framing significantly underestimates what UV exposure is doing to the eyes over decades. UVA and UVB radiation are directly implicated in both cataracts and age-related macular degeneration. The lens of the eye absorbs UV radiation over a lifetime, and that cumulative oxidative damage is one of the primary mechanisms by which lens proteins become cloudy, producing the blurring and glare sensitivity of cataracts. In the retina, UV exposure damages the photoreceptor cells of the macula, the cells responsible for central detailed vision, in a process that is cumulative and irreversible. After 60, the lens has already absorbed decades of UV. Every additional year without protection adds to that burden. And the detail most people miss: UV damage occurs on overcast days, in shade, and during morning and afternoon hours, not only at midday in direct sun. UV penetrates cloud cover and reflects off water, concrete, and sand. The standard for adequate protection is a lens blocking 99 to 100% of both UVA and UVB. Lens darkness is not the indicator. A light-tinted lens with UV 400 certification outperforms a very dark lens without it. If your sunglasses don't specify UV 400 or 100% UV protection, they are not protecting your eyes, regardless of how dark they appear. Habit number 3: sleeping in contact lenses. This habit is far more common than ophthalmologists would like, and far more dangerous than most people doing it understand. The cornea is the only tissue in the human body with no blood vessels. It receives oxygen directly from the air. A contact lens restricts that supply. During waking hours, blinking and movement compensate. During sleep, the eye is closed for hours, and the oxygen restriction is sustained and continuous. The result is corneal hypoxia, oxygen deprivation of the corneal tissue. In response, the cornea attempts to grow new blood vessels, a process called corneal neovascularization. These vessels are fragile, can bleed, and can permanently compromise corneal clarity. Beyond this, sleeping in lenses dramatically increases the risk of microbial keratitis, a corneal infection that, in severe cases, causes permanent scarring and irreversible vision loss. After 60, the cornea is less resilient. Recovery from hypoxia is slower, and the immune response to infection is weaker. If you sleep in your lenses regularly, you are accepting a risk that ophthalmologists consider one of the most preventable causes of serious vision loss in older adults. Habit number 4: skipping annual dilated eye exams. This is the habit with the highest consequences, because everything it fails to catch progresses silently until the damage is severe. Glaucoma has no symptoms in its early stages. Intraocular pressure rises gradually. The optic nerve sustains damage incrementally. Peripheral vision narrows so slowly that the brain compensates without the person noticing. By the time vision loss becomes apparent, up to 40% of optic nerve fibers may already be permanently destroyed. Glaucoma cannot be reversed. It can only be stopped, but only if it's caught. The same is true for early macular degeneration and diabetic retinopathy. The structural retinal changes that precede significant vision loss are visible to an ophthalmologist during a dilated exam years before they affect functional vision. Treatment at that stage can slow or halt progression. Treatment after significant loss cannot restore what's already gone. After 60, the American Academy of Ophthalmology recommends a comprehensive dilated eye exam every 1 to 2 years with no known risk factors, and annually for those with diabetes, a family history of glaucoma, or elevated eye pressure. If you haven't had a dilated exam in the last 2 years, schedule one. Not a vision screening at a pharmacy, A comprehensive dilated exam with an ophthalmologist or optometrist examining the retina, optic nerve, and internal eye structures. Habit number 5. A diet consistently low in lutein, zeaxanthin, and omega-3 fatty acids. The eye is one of the most metabolically active organs in the body. It has specific nutritional requirements that most people over 60 are not meeting, and the consequences are measurable. Lutein and zeaxanthin are carotenoids concentrated in the macula, the central retinal region responsible for sharp, detailed vision. They act as a natural filter for high-energy blue light and as antioxidants, protecting photoreceptor cells from oxidative damage. The AREDS2 trial, a major NIH-funded clinical study, found that supplementation with these two nutrients significantly reduced the risk of advanced macular degeneration in people with early or intermediate disease. Foods high in lutein and zeaxanthin: kale, spinach, eggs, especially the yolk, corn, and orange peppers. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish, walnuts, and flaxseed support meibomian gland function, directly addressing the dry eye progression that drives so much vision discomfort after 60. Higher dietary omega-3 intake is consistently associated with lower rates of both dry eye disease and macular degeneration in older adults. What you eat every day is either protecting or accelerating the deterioration of structures that cannot regenerate once damaged. Which of these 5 habits do you recognize in yourself? Leave a comment below. I read every single one, and your experience might be exactly what someone else watching this needed to hear. If this was useful, share it with someone over 60 in your life. Vision loss is one of the most preventable aspects of aging, but only when you know what's driving it. And if you're not subscribed yet, new videos every week, focused entirely on health after 60. No ads, no products to sell. I'll see you in the next one.